very special guest in the virtual studios with your girl on today. It's another Destiny Download with your girl, the Destiny Coach, baby. We're live in the mix. Yeah.
You are so hype right now.
It's what you say?
You are so hype right now. I love it.
I am hype. I was not this hype 30 minutes ago.
No.
So y'all shout out to my partner in all things foolish and all things faith.
Yeah. Cool. So first of all, it's so good to see you again and to be connected again. And you know what? I will say, I think this was super intentional that so much distance has happened between our last conversation and this one, because I think folks are going to experience us working out whatever theological stuff has occurred in that distance of time. So before that, we don't need to do like an intro. My name is Robert Harvey, clearly, and Sean calls me all the things. My name is Robert Harvey, pastor, preacher, educator, school superintendent. Listen, just all the things. Trying to be a black man surviving America. That's
Listen.
I really just want to hop right in.
Fried rice and spinach dip. Fried rice and spinach dip. Making sense out of life's appetite. And before we go too far, I know y'all like, what in the world? Only the mind of Dr. Harvey would concoct such a thing. And so I want him to kind of go ahead and give us some background around that, and we'll go from there.
So let me place it for folks, right? So this was August of 2016. So we're 4 years ago. I was 31 days out of having resigned from pastoring a church.
Okay.
And a traditional one at that. And here I am 30 days out of pastoring this traditional church, navigating life, trying to figure out what that means in life. And I texted you, and I was hungry, and I was driving down. You remember this?
Yes.
I was driving down Poplar Avenue in Memphis, and was like, "Yo, let's go get some food."
Yep.
And you said what you want to eat, and then that's when it hit me. I was like, "Damn, I want fried rice."
Yeah.
And I want to finish it. And but what's crazy though is that in that moment, which became a 3-part sermon series, it described my life. Wow. That I was in a state of living where my appetite in life needed two extremes that nobody else thought went together.
Wow.
But it was what was going to satisfy me in the moment. Right? Wow. And so that place is where it came from. It was that conversation, which then led, so fast forward, first Sunday of our church plant. Mm-hmm. We're about to plan and launch this new church called Covenant in Memphis. We're excited, we're pumped. And it was as clear as day that God said, essentially, you are the embodiment right now of what everybody's human experience is. You have an appetite that desires two things that other people don't understand the merger of.
Yes.
And you're going to work out publicly, Robert, what does it mean to sit with two appetites of two extremes and to make sense of that. Fast forward to that first Sunday, the Beatitudes are the center stage. Blessed is the one who hungers and thirsts after righteousness.
Yes.
And I read this idea of what does it mean to hunger and thirst after righteousness while at the same time, though, hungering and thirsting after darkness.
Wow.
And what does it mean when you're having to navigate your darkness and your light, your righteousness and your ratchetness, your good days and your bad days? And what I realized, though, and this is where I got delivered, that it wasn't a versus anymore.
Wow. It was an and.
It was an and. I didn't have to make a choice between the fried rice or the spinach dip. We ate them both.
Yeah. And we did. Yeah. We did.
And since then, that has literally been my theology with God, that I'm not picking.
Wow.
I'm going to let God work out what other people don't understand is the balance between two opposing appetites. And it's not on me to make sense of life's appetite. It's on me to give life space to work out life's appetite.
Yes.
And I do it. So that's the context of how we got.
Yeah. I mean, it was such a critical time.
Yeah.
So much was happening. There were so many emotions. There was some joys. There was some triumph. There were some victories, but there was also like the realities of how we even got here.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, I can remember Harvey texting me like, yo, and again, you have to understand, we ate out all of the time.
Right.
And usually we had one good spot, Seasons 52, right? Like without fail, or a little Houston every now and again, right? And so the fact that he was in this space, and usually for Harvey, for most, when you're dealing with an appetite, you usually know what it is you want to eat. Right. I have a taste for ... chicken, right? Or I want a steak tonight, or I want some cocktail, right? Or I just want happy hour. And so it was in this moment that, you know, he came to this realization of, I want this and I want this. And of course, I laughed because I always laugh when I'm confused, like, this bro tripping, like, right, I'm hungry, let's go, decide.
Yeah.
And how many of us find ourselves in spaces with people where they're at this crossroad, they're at these contrasting appetites, and you may be that person that's trying to push them to decide.
Yeah.
And so it was at that moment that this was birthed. And not only did Harvey have to wrestle with this, creating himself a space, but also having to manage those of us that was trying to push or that may push people. You need to decide one.
So that's key, right? So I remember we ate, and then fast forward, I texted you. I remember texting you and saying, like, yo, I'm gonna preach this. Like, I'm gonna preach this idea. Mm-hmm. And you were like, go for it. Like, I trust you. I don't get it, but go for it. Do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that idea of go for it that I think is the missing. So my leg is down, so you know it's over now. So
it's over.
I was trying to roll it. It's this idea of go for it that I think is the missing ingredient to people ultimately being satisfied. Right? That, like, when you typically share your life's appetite with folks,
yes,
what we have a tendency to do psychologically, right, is we impose what we want to eat on you.
Yes.
So I could have said, yo, I got to taste
our appetite.
Right. So I could have said, right, I want fried rice and spinach dip, and then you could have said, yeah, let's get the rice. And you could have taken me down a journey where I ignored a fundamental part of my desire.
That I wanted spinach dip.
You wanted that, right? But I wanted both and I'm wondering, what does it look like for people, particularly Black church folks? What does it look like for Black church folks to create space for people to have a go for it? So that when people communicate and navigate the thing they desire, we aren't filtering their desire through the lens of our own appetite, but we are pushing them to live into the truth of their desire, realizing that at some point, our appetite will want to be satisfied. Mm-hmm. And it is only in our giving space to other people to work out their thing that we reserve the right to demand that space when we get there.
Yeah.
If you don't give a go for it space to somebody to work out their thing, but you demand it for yourself, it is the contradiction of what it means to do this journey, because folks are just trying to make sense of the fact that they want both and.
Right. So, you know, Harvey by physical stature is a lot smaller than me. And I knew, like, okay, we must gonna eat again in a few more hours because Last time I checked, spinach dip is on menus as an appetizer.
Yeah.
And even on menus where fried rice is a dish, I'm still adding some sweet and sour chicken, some egg rolls. You know, it's something else with this, right?
Yeah.
So either one of those choices, which is why it didn't make much sense to me as a thick chick, look, we're still going to be hungry.
Yeah.
Right. So not only am I not even understanding this notion of fried rice and spinach dip and his palate at the time, but I'm also questioning substance. Mm-hmm. And at the end of this meal, will the both of us still be fulfilled and have what we need?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so with that, you know, it was a go forward, but it was also he gonna be feeding me again later, like bump this, right? And how often. Yeah. Even with our very contrasting choices and where we find ourselves in both, and that to me left room for God to say, hey, Robert, you're still not going to be full.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which now requires the path, the space, the community, the freedom to say, look, y'all, I got my fried rice and my spinach dip now, and I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
Now what? And the people and those of us that surrounded you, the seriousness of that reality that at some point you thought this gonna fill me up because this is what I want.
Right.
To later realize I'm still hungry.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, so here's what's interesting about that thought, right? Is that the idea of I will still need my needs satisfied later on.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a simple version. That's okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we have demonized, think about it. We have demonized the idea of having to be refilled. Right? So you tell somebody you feel empty.
Yeah.
They gonna quickly go into this diagnostic around
right.
Back up. Right. Mm-hmm. Go after.
Yes.
But to your point, community also says you're gonna lean into desire, lean into that appetite. You will be hungry again.
Right.
And when you get to hunger again, guess what we'll do? We'll make sense of that new appetite.
Right. And we'll get what you go for.
Yes. But how unique theologically to have a Christian community of people who are willing to rock with you, where, watch this, where even when your appetite contradicts their belief system. And everybody don't have that kind of community where you can work out an idea.
Yes.
That you know is an idea that contradicts the fundamental reality of belief.
Yes. Right.
And people like, work it out.
Let's go. And I'll say with that go forward is here's the thing, and I'm a foodie. Harvey is a foodie, right? I don't care if it's 5 course or 1 course, right? We're a foodie. In any city, you can place us anywhere. We hadn't yet found, there may be now, but in this time, there wasn't a restaurant. There wasn't one place where we could get both options. Woo! So in that go forward, that's also us as the community saying, even if we have to make several stops with you, right? We're willing to take this journey with you to make sure you get what you say you want and you need and you desire at this time.
Listen, right? So pen. So let's give context to life, right? So I landed in Memphis, 2015, traditional Baptist church, called to that church to pastor, honor that space. I'm working out what that means, right? To be a Black pastor of a traditional Baptist church in the South. With the context behind me though, right? As liberal as you could find, Harvard in my back of my head, St. Stephen Church and Luke, all that stuff come with me, right? To your idea of like, we're gonna take each stop with you. So the first stop was a stop in a traditional space where I felt called to navigate the appetite of people who wanted structure and tradition some days. The deconstruction of the ghost of God on others.
Yeah.
Work through that stop Fast forward, that stop ends tumultuously.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish I had a different word. I had to. They have some bad words in there. So tumultuously.
Yeah.
Next stop is the stop between two churches, right? The interim, in between, where I am both depressed and planting at the same time.
Yes.
And working out the desire of, now that I don't have to balance tradition and freedom, what does it look like to balance freedom and myself? Meaning, there was the me that I had crafted after a year of being in a city.
Yes.
And there was freedom. And what did it look like in the in-between? To make sense of life's appetite for not wanting to disappoint the Robert that I had created when I landed, but not yet being prepared to embrace the Robert who was calling to come out.
Yes. Which speaks to this notion of being bound for so long or pretending for so long that when we get free, now this fear of freedom and this reality of freedom and the freedom of freedom, right? Like, it's almost like this season that we're in now. We got so much time, right? If you saying now you too busy, ain't got time, how? Why? Right? So now you're wrestling with this freedom, and now God is like, have at it. Blank canvas. Start over. Do what you do. And it's like, but wait, I'm used to the structure. I'm used to the change. I'm used to the routines. I'm used to the pushbacks, right? Like the freedom to be free. And that's the thing.
So the freedom to be free is a crazy place to be because freedom itself is a blank canvas. The danger of being free is that there literally is no prototype of what freedom is in me.
Yes.
So this danger, like the danger and the fear of walking into freedom, where you have to make sense of your appetite for life, the danger of that is that when you make a decision that I am going to be free, and free is whatever, right? It is free of system, it is free of control, it is free of relationship, it is free of identity, it is free of churches, whatever the thing is, free of a job, I'm leaving. The idea of walking into freedom is also an embrace of blankness. We have been so socialized by trauma, so it's not our fault, by trauma, to be afraid of blank, to be afraid of nothingness, that often we will stay or recreate trauma just for the blankness of freedom. Right? Which is why I always go back to Genesis 1, where it says, and the Spirit of God hovered over nothing.
Over nothing.
In the sense that God is comfortable when you are blank.
When you are blank.
We assume that God is only content with us when all the stuff is happening.
Yes.
It was literally in between my season of tradition and freedom when I felt blank and empty that I felt most pleased by God.
Most pleased. Wow.
Like I literally felt in that month of doing nothing but figuring out what life was supposed to look like. It's so crazy. I think I was back in, I was depressed and dark. And at the same time, I felt like God was pleased with me. Because I was no longer trying to live into the narrative of a Robert that I had created, that I realized at the end of the day was all about the appetite of other people. I did not please my own. And I am wondering, what does it look like to create trauma because you are trying to please the appetite of other people, right? You know that they are feeding on the identity that you have created. So you keep making new versions of that identity for them to feed.
Yes.
And maybe, Sean, maybe that is part of why it is a continual hunger.
Yes. Yes.
You are not becoming the appetite of your choice.
And your truth.
And your truth.
And your truth. Because for someone, and allow us, you all, to speak very transparently, for most of this journey, I walked this journey with Pastor Hart for the most of it. There were moments I wasn't privy to. And so from the lens, this notion, there were those of us cheering, and there are some that are even watching that were cheering him on to get through this space because our freedom was tied in his, right? And because, you know, not only was he leader and pastor and brother, like we took those things to heart, right? Like you pastor, you lead, you everything, you the children's God, daddy, you everything, right?
Yeah.
And we've gotten away from that a little bit, but we embody what it meant to truly be followers of this man that we believe had been sent by God, right? And so with that, we were like, look, if he can get on the other side of whatever this is, then that language that he now adopts and creates and manifests will spill onto what has had us bound.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What I would like to argue around a great coach or a great mentor is that they help to create a model. And so, again, we didn't have language for any of this then, but I believe that there was something drawing us where we was like, man, go Harvey, go. Yeah. And there was selfishness there, because as much as we wanted to see him in a better place, a part of us was also wrestling like, look, get me the hell out of here. I'm hungry too. This ain't fulfilling me. I don't even want what they cooking. Yeah. And I would like to believe that what God is about to give you gonna feed all of us.
Yeah. So that is so powerful because this is interesting. This is interesting. There is a responsibility that comes with freedom.
Yeah.
When you are leading others through and in it, because your ability to give language to your journey of freedom gives the people a model of language to then take the journey, right? Here is where I fail people. Thanks to a really expensive therapist and some good friends.
Y'all, he went faithfully. Okay.
Well, here's why I fail people. When I began to tap into my own freedom, and begin to become free in my freedom, I never, in the moment, I never gave folks the language that I got to get there.
Listen, sir.
Now I repented to God for a few months and then I stopped. but where I repented for a little while is in that.
Yeah.
I wondered how many people would be soaring.
Wow.
If I had paused in my own pursuit to say, and here is the language.
Here's the language.
You need to take this journey on. Now, but here's the thing.
Wow.
But your freedom won't look like mine. It won't even sound like mine.
Yes.
But there is a language of the journey that I can share with you that can hopefully get you to being free in your own freedom. And which makes me say, now I can say this. Woe is the leader who is free, but not giving anybody the model to get free themselves. Woe is the leader who has tapped into what it means to balance life's appetite. And not giving the people language to balance life's appetite. Woe is the leader who went through hell, came out on the other side, and never gave anybody the formula for how to survive hell.
Yes.
And I just wonder, how many people fill pews and at this point fill our live streams who are looking for language to be free.
Yes.
And instead, we are giving them language to recreate trauma. Because catch this, and I did tell y'all one thing.
Listen.
My goal as a pastor was for you to not need me to be your pastor.
Wow.
Eventually, you have enough shepherding language that if I'm no longer the pastor, you got plenty language to go stay free.
You know that's controversial though, because what we hear is the adverse.
Yeah.
Right. And we hear, and we talk. Me and TJ talked about the need to have a pastor.
Yeah.
And what we uncovered even in TJ's live was, as much as that's what she desired, though that wasn't her first stop.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pastor, and it wasn't a church. Right. Yeah. It was some other things that were just as pivotal as the shepherd. Right. And so you say that is so controversial, because I believe from what in traditional, you see this tie, and you see this allegiance to a role, to a personality, to a position that's almost of dependency.
Yeah.
And so the question is, like, at what point in leadership, pastoral leadership, that you want the people to be not just free, but independent?
Yeah.
Right? That, to your point, if anything happens, we have legs to stand upon until, like what we saw God did with TJ, she get to her what's next.
Right. So listen, the person we claim to love, but the one we never model, is Jesus.
Lord.
Because Jesus departs the earth. Roll with me. I'm in Acts. He leaves. The Negro, he pieces out of earth. And catch this, Sean. That was their pastor. He was the pastor of the 12 and the women. So, what do we do now? You use the language he gave you to create new models.
Yes.
Of what it means to do community. Catch this. He didn't even say use the model to do church. Use the model to create community. And then I will send you another. So in any way, Jesus was telling us there will come a season, Jesus, in all of our lives where you will be in between the teacher and the comforter.
Listen!
You are in between teacher and comforter. You have language to sustain your own self until the comforter shows up to give life to what the teacher had taught.
Yes.
And most churches don't. This is the problem. Most churches don't have a teacher or a comforter.
Listen!
Most churches have a ruler because they are Pauline in their theology.
Wow.
But if you are following Jesus's model, your first stop should be a teacher, which is what TJ had with me. She needed a teacher for a little while. She had a teacher, she took a break, and then she got a comforter. The well is a place to be comforted. It is a place to be refreshed. So you go between teacher and comforter, but in the middle time, you better figure that shit on your own. You better figure out life on your own.
Yes.
With the model of language that God left you with.
Left you.
I got to look carried away from that. Just not passionate no more.
the goal of you, first of all, the goal of you to present it in such a way that literally contradicts the culture of today's church.
Yeah.
And here's what's dangerous around conversations like these, right? Because see, what was happening was, as you was in that space, as you was in that traditional space, subconsciously you was inserting and you was admonishing and you was pushing. And those of us that were mature enough, even those of us that didn't yet get it, was still like, hold up, this sounds like freedom.
Yeah.
Right? This doesn't match what I'm currently looking at, and I really want to get away from. Right? And how dangerous it is for us to sit in today's pews across the board and not understand some of this stuff I need to get from me. I remember a few weeks ago, God gave me this cold revelation and was like, Sean, look, while you're sitting here producing and creating, giving this person this idea, that person this idea, some stuff I want just for you. Because I've given you the mind, I've given you the spirit, I've given you the grace to carry it out. And so sometimes we sit here and we're like, well, dang, God, and so how dangerous. And I just believe for me to receive that level of a download, there had to be some type of intimate relationship with me and God, just me. It wasn't nobody else. It was that in between of like, what do you now do in quarantine? What do you now do when you can't get to the building? You can't sit at the man's feet. You can't throw $1 for a holler. You can't. You have to sit in front of a computer and hope the Holy Ghost come through the screen. What do you do?
So Sean, this is why the idea. So if you were raised in a good Baptist church, you heard of this principle called the priesthood of all believers. This is the idea that Martin Luther put forward that argued there will be a time where you will be your own priest, which means what? What does the priest do? I gotta consecrate myself.
Listen,
I gotta intercede for me.
Myself.
Yeah. I got to go beyond the veil for me. I got to wash my own feet. I got to carry my own time. I got to do the work. But here's the problem. If I learn as a pew member how to be the priest for my own life, what I do, I risk the power that my pastor has over being able to dictate how I navigate my freedom.
Listen!
If I can't be my own priest, I'm depending on how he or she use my freedom to determine how I navigate the appetite of the season I'm in.
Yes.
So if I'm my own priest, I can hear what they say, receive it in grace, and also say, based on where I am with God, based on what I hear,
go forth.
on the language I know.
Yes, go forth. Yes.
I'm gonna go after freedom.
Yes.
Because
because
one more thing.
Go ahead.
Because watch this. Being your own priest also teaches you how to discern trauma-informed versus freedom-informed preaching. Because so much of what we hear
is trauma.
It's trauma-informed, and ain't nobody got that Negro free yet. So he got the trauma because the brother is still working out in the pulpit what he could have worked out on the couch. Me.
Listen.
If you work it out on the couch, Sean, you work it out back here on one of these, you don't have to work it out in the pulpit.
In the pulpit.
And being your own priest teaches you how to discern, pastor preaching through trauma right now. This ain't freedom informed.
Listen.
Because if it was freedom informed, watch this. If it was freedom informed, I would have walked away with new language on how to be free.
And I would be free. Exactly.
But instead, I'm walking away madder than I was when I came in.
Listen,
more bound. Because all I did was digest his or her working out, their own appetite, not being quenched.
Yes. What?
And then they followed up with, now is the time where everybody can participate. Give.
Give. So into my trauma. So it's a TJ say, so what is a person on the pew to do?
Great question.
I thought he was about to say leave.
You know, well, what a person is to do is a couple things. First of all, a person should evaluate every sermon that they hear through this lens. When it's over,
am
I any more free?
Yes.
Now that it's over, then before I open their mouth. First, evaluate through the lens of freedom. Secondly, is this a space where I can name my life's appetite?
Ooh.
It not be demonized because I can't make sense of it. Thirdly, is this a space that lets me ask questions about the trauma-informed sermon?
Yes.
And work it out in a way that I'm going to keep asking questions until I get it to be my own priest of the word.
Yes.
Fourth, I put the three together, and if I don't feel good at the end of my three, I shoot Pastor an email, or I send them a letter, or her, thanking them for their time in my life. Not serious, wishing God's best on them.
Yes, God's choice is blessings.
And you decide in that moment, this is my season to be between
the teacher and the comforter.
That's it.
Listen!
I'm in between right now.
I'm in between. What, Paul, what I wanted to dial back and say, though, around community, now that you come to this place of a resolve and repentance, and we bless God for repentance.
Yeah, we do.
Is the fact that those of us that took this journey with you, you know, we lost a giant, right? And I want to add some piece in it. We lost a giant. When you shifted, when you got free, it didn't, pass the baton backwards or reach back. I'll say it, I lost a giant. But what happened, why God is so dope is, and this is also something that was pulled out of me and TJ's live last week, was we had caught enough by then. We had caught a glimpse of freedom by then that even though our leader didn't reach back and didn't give us language, we was like, bump this, we ain't going back either. We finna go find it out ourselves.
Facts.
Which has been a challenge and a journey all by itself. That's why you really can't discount any nuggets that you drop or any ounce of oil that you sit up under.
Yeah.
Because even if a little bit get on you, I see TJ in her journey, right? I see those of us, and I say TJ because I don't want to call anybody else out, but there were others, right, that only caught a little bit of the oil.
Yeah.
That now we can take in other spaces, even though we may still be wrestling with a fried rice and a spinach dip palate.
Yes.
We know what we don't want.
Yeah. Yes.
Listen, I said fried rice and spinach dip. That's chicken.
Yeah.
Or those are egg. I said fried. So at the very least, which is how God will never leave you hanging. At the very least, even when we go into these spaces, we be like, that ain't fried rice and that ain't spinach dip either. Hell, I'm really gonna be hungry.
Listen. A part of that is the power, though, of community, because if community has worked its work, if community has really done its work, it should give you enough to be in between communities and starving. Right? The power of a good community. So what I love, and I'm gonna stay with you and TJ. I appreciate that. We're gonna honor it since both of y'all have named the truth. The power of the power of your community. Yeah. Let me back. The added layer of all of this, though, Sean, is that the relationship we had struck ahead of freedom gave us an opportunity to also fight with respect. Yeah. And fight with dignity. Yeah. And what is missing often in people's pursuit of freedom is people don't fight fair. So what never happened, right, is that anytime there was a moment that a fight had to happen, it was always framed within the dignity of the pursuit for freedom. Yes. And the way you know you are in good community is when you can be at throws with somebody. Yes. But your dignity has never been disrespected. Never. Yes. And I desire for everybody to have community where you can be challenged, cussed out, and lost at the same time. Listen. Walk away and still feel like your dignity is intact. And that's the key. Because here's the thing. Jesus could be so rude to people in the Gospels. When you really unpack the Gospels, Jesus wasn't always nice. He was about people in foxes and holes, and which is really disrespectful. He called that woman, he likened that woman into a dog eating from a table. Jesus' dignity for people was in such a way that Jesus was going to call out the fact that you were in a pursuit of freedom and still humanized your trauma. God, it meant that you know you are in the right community. When the community is not trying to convince you that you're not traumatized, they simply give you human language to make sense of your trauma. And that's why you need a community that's not trying to force you to pray your appetite away. They're trying to give you human language to say, work it out. Work it out. Take the journey. Right. Go with God. Be free. And what is so, and I have to capture this because again, this has helped to even shape now. Do understand this is our pastor in this context. Right. Right. This is our pastor. Both me and TJ's leader. Right. Pastor Harvey. Yeah. Right. But it's something happens when you're talking about building community and you're trying to get free. It don't matter about titles no more. Right. It doesn't matter about hierarchy. Right. Right? Because we understood that again, even though this is our pastor, and he says something that was pivotal that I want to pull out, there were behind the scenes fights. Oh God, yeah. Behind the scene fights. Like, yo, and TJ is the cusser, and the reality of it is, TJ gonna get with you, right? And it was a challenge on both ends. It was Harvey wrestling with his darkness and his depression. It was us trying to figure that out because here's the reality: we had never been so close to that either. Right. So we're trying to wrestle with how to support our pastor, our brother, our friend, right? At the same time of trying to still again keep these layers of but what really happened was all that went out the door. Harvey realized I don't care about being y'all pastor right now. I need community. Right. So I need people who's going to allow me to wrestle with these appetites, and that to me suggests a level of humility. When you're really hungry, you get humble. So here's the thing, Sean. And I want, if somebody should drop this in, actually I'm going to write an article about it. So somebody needs to drop what I'm about to say in the chat. The pursuit of freedom is the great equalizer. Think about it. The pursuit of freedom is the great equalizer. If I want to be free and you want to be free, regardless of the title we bring to the table, regardless of our dynamic of power, regardless of how much control we have in this space, regardless of the influence we come to the table with, the reality of the fact is that we are equalized in the pursuit of freedom, which is why I push my friends and my colleagues who are still pastoring, who reach out to me privately, wrestling with the idea of pursuing freedom. Oftentimes, which is, I don't even want to do this no more, right? People just don't want to do it. They just offer it.
Because that's the real truth.
That's the real truth.
Yeah.
But anyway, so with this idea, I'm going to do it. What I tell them is, what does it look like to find you a real community where you can say just that? I'm over this. I'm over this. I'm over them. I'm over the process. I'm over the journey. Because when you name your pursuit to be free, it humanizes you in a way that brings the office, that actually makes the office relatable.
Listen,
the office of the pastor can be so awkwardly intimidating and strange and weird, but when you can get up in a pulpit and tell people, I used to remember this, because you used to make fun of me. I don't feel like preaching today. I'm actually over it. I'm not in the mood. I did not sleep well. I'm tired, but I'm gonna get the word out so I can get back home and get to bed. I gotta get to bed. I'm going real quick. It is so humanizing.
Yes.
Because people want to tell you, I don't feel like being here either. I don't feel like listening to you right now.
Listen.
I'm just as tired as you, right? And so, but community, which is why, to your point, which is why I needed people where I could be that honest in my pursuit of freedom to even say, then, right, my life isn't working in every area that it needs to be working, right? My relationship is not working. My mind right now is not working. My patience is not working. And if you don't have that kind of community where you just can't name, it's not working right now.
Yes.
And I am in a journey to be free. If you don't have that.
Yeah. Because what happened was that was empowering to us as the community all by itself.
Yeah.
Because then it forced us into a space of like, hey, he's allowing me in as a level of needed support.
Yeah.
Right. And so now in the pew, I'm looking through a different lens.
Yes.
I'm looking through a lens of added grace.
Yes.
I'm looking through a lens of compassion. My pastor don't feel like preaching today. I don't feel like being here. So let me cheer him on even the more. Or let me pray him through this. Or let me give him 2.5 free amens, right? Like let me help him, because at the end of the day, he has already let me know on the front end, yes, God, he's been honest and transparent and free enough, and he trusts us enough to say, you know what, I need y'all.
Yes.
I don't need y'all to be in here looking for me or to me from something, because at the end of the day, I don't even have it to give for myself. So the reality of it is, I need what y'all got in the pews today. Now I'm gonna still do what God has given me to do to the best of my ability, but the reality is I need y'all's strength today, and not just to preach a sermon to get through today.
Yes. So that's what's so interesting, Sean. I think I was at Riverside. Maybe I was at Riverside. I was on where I was at that point, but I think I was at Riverside. And I remember having a moment where I came to the realization, in those moments, in the pursuit of freedom, where you don't even feel God's power, what you are reliant on then is human compassion to kick in, to get you through. And toward the end of my journey of pastoring initially in Memphis, at Riverside, toward the end of that journey, I was in such a darkness as a human. More Sundays than not, watch this, here's what was so crazy about it. More Sundays than not, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel it. I felt empty. I felt like I was walking through a valley. But what was so crazy was that it was the end of that journey in that congregation with that space where we had the largest altar calls, the most people under sheets, and more oil flinging at the end, because at that point where I was empty, human compassion of the community had kicked in, And the human compassion of my community said, where you don't feel it, we got you.
Listen.
That power which is why, oftentimes, this is a little liberal. I'm going to tell the saints of God in advance, a little liberal. Which is oftentimes what's giving energy to rooms like that is part spirit, but part human compassion.
Human compassion.
You always give spirit 100% credit. But some of that energy in the room is the fact that some humans showed up with humanity. And they are giving you grace in that room, which is fueling the spirit to come on in.
Yes.
So there are seasons where, even now, today, and I'm not pastoring, where I find myself even today low. But when I get into a room of compassionate humans, give me space to work out my freedom. Spirit finds me, and I get charged up. Right? 6:20. We talk to each other. You were low. You were not feeling, you weren't at your peak about an hour and a half ago.
Was not.
We started talking, and you began to find this bolstering of your spirit.
Yes, Lord.
And you don't have it. If you can tap into community that is willing to say, I got a word that's gonna plug it, it makes the difference. And that right there is what I want people to think about, is who are the people that when I don't feel God and I don't feel spirit, I feel them. When I don't feel God, and I don't feel the church, I feel them. That's what I believe our ancestors meant when they said, somebody prayed for me. It wasn't about God. It was about the energy that somebody else was giving out to the universe. And when they put that energy in the universe found me and said, somebody was praying for you, so get better. Perk up.
And oh Lord Jesus. What you did though, because he's right. Literally, I was on the phone with TJ before. So TJ knows what we were talking about before I even got on here with Harvey, and he's right. But what happened was, right, he took time. He stopped long enough to say what's up. Right. And so if I hear that I'm busy one more time, I'm talking about if I hear that I got so much to do one more time, I'm talking about what you doing? But the difference between those people that get help and those people that have community, I can argue somewhere there was a time component that, again, we're on here to do this. You didn't have to. There was nowhere to say, let me figure out no, he stopped long enough.
Listen.
He paused long enough to say, hold up, what's going on in your world? Listen. What's happening with you? And I would argue, you know why I believe you can operate from that space is because you've been there where you needed people to stop. I don't care what you got going. I really don't care. Because at the time, TJ was busy. Everybody, twin had stuff, but we had kids, we had everything. Right. But at the end of the day, when you're in community with people, you have to be so in tune with spirit. Listen. That I don't care what my poker face looks like. I don't care how strong you think I am. You have to stop. So you can't say that you love me. You ain't stopped.
Listen.
You have compassion for me. You haven't taken a pause to say, hold up. And I remember, I don't know if you remember this. I'm sure you remember the story. And I think Twin is on the line. I can remember when everything went down and I had to go to New Orleans. And I'll never forget it. And here's what we were on family vacation, and I couldn't rearrange my plans. Well, I could have, and literally God was like, no, don't go. And so we was on a group text. It was me, Wawa, TJ, the twins, Sheikah, and I was like, I need y'all. Yeah. Right? Harvey gonna go up in that hellhole Sunday.
Yeah.
And my guy need his goons.
Yeah.
Right? I need y'all. I ain't gonna be there, XYZ. And they handled it. I know they handled it, right? Yeah. And so no matter what they had going, I think even Twin came to Riverside that day. Reverend Twin, right? Reverend, I think Stephen showed up because we understood community.
Yes.
And we understood the fact that what we got going, it's important. I get it. It's Sunday. Everybody in their respective worship places, etc. But here we have a person, not pastor, a person in our community that needs us to be present and accounted for. He needs us in all spirit. He don't even need us in flesh. We got enough of that. He needs us in all spirit to be present. I wonder, what would the body of Christ look like? What would the mental health and the emotional wellness of pastors look like when we got past titles, when we got past hierarchy, and how much more of a bond would be between that pulpit and that pew when you realize, I don't care about you being no pastor. You are a person, and your person need my person.
Yes. Listen.
You can't do this. Because you will find yourself wanting fried rice and spinach dip, and you're going to need some folk that love you enough, that have the Spirit of God in them enough to say, go forward.
Go forward. Listen, you just articulated, Sean, the thesis of the problem. How many people, I need to sit with this after we even get off. How many people are bound because of busyness? How many folks are literally at the precipice of being free, but the thing that's keeping them from going over is that everybody who claims to be their community is too busy to pause to get them across the edge. Even, I gotta go back to Jesus. Even Jesus realized, watch it, Lazarus has died.
Listen.
Let me go by the house and see how his sisters are doing. Because their brother just died. If the embodiment of God could pause for a moment and check on his community, what does it look like for our filthy selves who got two things on a calendar? And check on two, and one of them ain't real because one is stopped by the church. What does it look like for us to pause in community and literally check on the people? Because watch this. Jesus stopped by to check on them because Jesus knew how they had rolled for him up until the point that Lazarus had died. In other words, humanity was so connected to the idea that when people roll for you, the least you can do is return the favor when they need you.
And here's the thing, I may not even always have the words to communicate that I need you. Community is not convenient. That's why you gotta be that's why I can appreciate my homies, my riders. I can appreciate getting on the day when you was like, hold up, wait, pause. And you didn't do it in a dramatic way. So I know though, if I get Sean talking, I know her enough to know if I can get her out of her head, because something in her head has her distracted right now, I can talk her into a new energy. Because we've done life together, we've done community together. So I know if I can crack a joke, I know I can pull her. And it didn't even take long. We immediately warped into, hey, ideas, planning, thinking, right? And how many of us have missed God and have missed the blessings of God and missed the fullness of God because we won't even allow those exchanges to happen because of busyness, because of this low productivity. You ain't doing nothing because guess what? If the people ain't there, pastor, you don't have a job. I would say as a teacher, if the kids are my clients, if the parents don't send the kids, forget a school.
Listen.
So we have so many, I believe, soldiers dying. I believe, young and old. Because we have shifted this narrative of, and I get it, pray for the leader. Cool. Cover the leader. Cool. Got you. Say no more. I can do that. we got that down pat. When is it reciprocated? And I don't mean in a corporate space. And because here's the thing about if you in the Holy Ghost, we could see sometimes when you would come out when you were defeated. You didn't walk across Riverside and come over there to the 4th pew and say, "Look, y'all, I need some extra prayer today. I need an extra Shabbat today."
Listen.
Right? You didn't on the platform at Covenant say, "Hey, no, we could discern because we have built community in the spirit."
Yes.
And I wonder how many parishioners are like, "I'm dying a slow death trying to keep you alive."
Listen. Here's part of the challenge. Here's part of the challenge. You asked the pivotal question of when is that energy returned? Here it is. It's returned when I'm not afraid of what I'm going to learn about me when I make time to hear your stuff.
Yes.
Because what prevents many of my brothers. Now let me say this. My sisters in this work of ministry,
Lord Jesus.
my sisters are far farther along than my brothers are.
Talk about it, sir.
My brother, that's also child developmental psychology, that women mature faster, and that is even true in ministry. So what is interesting though is where my brothers, I think, struggle sometimes is, and here is where I'm sitting. If I make time for Sean, and I make time to pour into you, there's this phenomenal concept in psychotherapy called the mirroring effect. You will say something that might trigger a reminder in me that I have chosen not to deal with yet. Not talking. And then I've sat too long with you.
Listen.
I'm really gonna start sitting with me. So I tell people to cover me, because as long as you all are doing all the covering, I don't ever have to uncover. In other words, y'all covering me is the covering that prevents me from ever having to be exposed.
Yes.
Not exposed to nothing crazy, but be exposed to my freedom.
To my freedom. And with that is, say it right, Sean.
Say it right, Sean.
Say it right.
Yeah.
Say, I ain't trying to get it wrong.
Use your right words.
Use right. With this covering, I would argue that, and with us knowing, even in the time where you were tapped in, that is what sustained us all. And that is what gave, I would argue, us this, I don't care what happened, I'm rocking with him. Because when I needed him, he was present.
Sure.
Right? And so there's so much we could just reference back to TJ's live that kind of came out organically, but I would even argue, especially for the crew, is that there were times me and my mom were talking about you after TJ's live, and she said something that was key as a reminder, and that was, all I know is that he had your back. And I know that Harvey supported everything you put your hands to. And so what had to happen is, along the journey, because again, along the journey, as you said, you left.
Right.
You left us, you left the space, hell, you left life. Right? And as much hurt as that caused, and just hatred for a season of like, why, God, this was such a perfect dynamic. What happened, the reality was, when you could, you did. And maturity had to kick in, and I'll speak for myself because I don't know with anybody else. It had to kick in as your daughter. To say, I need you to elevate your thinking, Sean, to remember when. He could, he did. When he could make sense out of his own appetite. When he did just have one linear choice.
Listen.
But even when he couldn't, here it is, even when he couldn't make sense out of his appetite, he still included you in that. So what you don't realize is, Sean, oh God, Lord. When you and my mom helped me place this, you still again was learning.
Yeah.
That someday when you got to your place of, I don't know, the man of God, even in his frailty, even in his inability to lead you, was still leading, was still teaching, was still covering you.
Yeah.
In his own, and you didn't see it like that because you was hoping to see pastor and leader in the way you had saw it, but not, when he shifted, that shifted, the paradigm shifted, and now you got to see pastoring from a human lens. You got to see being led from a teacher lens, and the reality of it is, I needed him to lead so that I could show you had more in you than you thought, and that you could do life in the in-between. My God. So you have to, Jesus.